Hello, Year 2, and welcome to Lesson 2 of your PSHE unit on bullying. Before we embark on our new lesson, let's see what we remembered from our last lesson with our knowing more and remembering more. Number 1, the definition of bullying is when unkind behavior is repeated and intended to hurt someone. True or false? Number 2, which of these is not an example of physical bullying? Kicking someone, sending unkind text messages, punching someone in the stomach, or pinching someone on the arm. And your challenge is to explain what the word severe means. How did you do? Pause here to mark your responses. Our learning today will answer the question, what should you do if you experience unkind behavior? And also that hurtful behavior, whether offline or online, including teasing, name-calling, bullying, and deliberately excluding others is not acceptable. We are also going to learn how to report bullying and the importance of telling a trusted adult. Our key vocabulary for this lesson. Words that you already know are bullying, physical, verbal, emotional, severity, and unkind. The word that you will meet in this lesson is the word behaviour. These are some of the words that we are going to encounter in our lesson. Can you remember what these words mean? Pause here to discuss your responses. Severity is how serious something is. Physical is when something is linked to the body rather than the mind. Bullying is behavior that is repeated, intended to hurt someone either physically or emotionally. Emotional is when something relates to someone's feelings and mind. And behavior is the way in which someone conducts themselves, usually in relation to other people, so how people behave. So now it's time for you to either make some notes or discuss with your partner. I would like you to come up with some examples of unkind behavior. Once you've written down or discussed these types of behaviors, I would like you to describe whether they are physical or emotional forms. Please pause here to complete your task. Can every type of behavior, unkind behavior, be labeled as bullying? Discuss with your partner and then share back to the class. If you're at home, you can discuss with someone at home with you, or you can just make notes. So you should have discussed the fact that every unkind behavior cannot be classed as bullying. It is only classed as bullying if it happens repeatedly, more than once. It is done on purpose, if the bullying intends to harm you. And sometimes a person is bullied because they are considered to be different. So, if someone is unkind to you once, does this mean that they are bullying you? Discuss with your partners. So what should you do if you experience unkind behavior? How can you deal with unkind behavior? You can talk to a friend. You can write it down. You can ignore it. You can talk to an adult, either a teacher or your parent, or you can just walk away. Which of these would be the easiest to do, and why? Sometimes problems can be dealt with amongst you and your friends, if you and your friends have a falling out or an argument. Can you think of any problems that can easily be resolved with you and your friends without the need for discussing it with a teacher or a parent? When was the last time you resolved a problem with your friends? And how did you do that? Talking is so important. If you think you are being bullied, you must talk to an adult who will definitely help you. You can talk to an adult at school, you can talk to your class teacher, your favorite adult in the school, a teaching assistant, or your head teacher. You can talk to an adult at home. You can talk to your parents or carers, your grandparents, uncles or aunts, sisters or brothers or cousins. Why do you think it is important to talk to an adult? Which adults can help you in school? When you have a problem, which adults can you turn to? It's unlikely you're going to be able to insert familiar pictures of your adults, but you could draw them. If not, you can just discuss which adults would help you in school. Now we are going to look at some different scenarios, and I would like you to think about who you would turn to help you and why. So, at the park on Saturday, you see a group of your friends from school. They ignore you and tell you to go away. Which adult would you tell? Scenario 2. A child in your class keeps on hitting your arm every lunchtime, despite you asking him to stop. Which adult would you tell? Who would you turn to help you and why? Every weekend, your friends call you unkind names over a gaming message chat. Which adult would you tell? Every lunchtime, an older child takes your packet of crisps and chocolate bar. Which adult would you tell? I would like you to think about and discuss with your partner what you would do if you saw one of your friends getting hurt. Would you keep it quiet? Would you step in to try to resolve the problem? Would you tell an adult? Would you get help? Remember, it is your responsibility to help someone if they are being treated badly. Your activity for this lesson will be to look at different scenarios. From looking at the scenarios, you have to decide and write how you would feel in the situation, and also write about how you would deal with the situation. For those of us who are working from home, I'm going to read you a scenario, and this scenario you will use to complete your activity. So, at the park on Saturday, you see a group of your friends from school. They ignore you and tell you to go away. On Monday, they act as if nothing has happened. You ask your friend about it, but she says that she can't remember what you're talking about. How would you feel in this situation? How would you deal with the situation? Write it down. Let's test what we've learned. Your response to these answers will either be true or false. Number 1, if someone is treating you unkindly, don't tell anyone. The answer to that is false. If someone is getting hurt by someone else, you should go and get help from an adult. That is true. Number 3, people can be unkind to you via the internet. That is also true. If someone is unkind to you, telling an adult would be snitching. That is false. And number 5, sometimes people can be unkind as a one-off, which is not bullying. That is true. So why have we learned about the different types of bullying and what you can do in a situation where you're being bullied? You've learned this so that you can understand that not all types of unkind behavior can be called bullying. You've also learned this so that you can know that there are different people at home and at school that you can turn to if you're being treated unkindly. You also need to know that you can help others out if they're being bullied or treated unkindly too. Hello, you two, and welcome to Lesson 3 of your PSHCE Bullying Unit. Our learning question for today is, what kind of touch is okay? But before we go on to that, let's test our knowledge with our knowing more and remembering more. The word severe means not important. True or false? Number 2, which of these adults is not a trusted adult? Your parents, a teacher, a stranger, or a teaching assistant? And your challenge, as well as home and school, where else can people be unkind to you? How did you do? Remember to mark your response